It started as a proposal to provide a different route to marriage, but critics say it leaves too much to interpretation. Brianna Idzior dives deeper into both sides of this argument. Brianna.
Josh, Kim, the current law in Tennessee requires people to be 18 or 17 with parental permission to get married. But one representative is presenting an additional option for those with strict religious beliefs. A bill that's stirring up controversy presents an alternative for marriages in Tennessee.
This bill changes nothing in the current law regarding marriages. What it does do is establish a form of marriage in the state between one man and one woman. It creates a recording of marital contract at common law document, which would be filed with the county clerk.
Representative Tom Leatherwood says this bill was inspired by the deeply held religious beliefs of he and others in the state and wouldn't require a marriage license.
You don't have to go get a license from the government, get their permission, pay a fee to get married. If you choose, the law doesn't require it to be filed afterwards either, but you can file that deed if you so choose.
Two representatives from the Children and Family Affairs Subcommittee expressed concerns that there wasn't an age requirement for marriages in the bill.
I just want to make sure there wasn't an explicit age limit. My concern...
No, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't understand your question. No, there is not an explicit age limit.
The Women's Fund of Greater Chattanooga advocates for women's rights and safety, and one of its directors tells me she worries this could lead to dangerous consequences.
The marriage bill that we're talking about today is one that really rolls back protections that we have in place to protect people from child marriage, from forced marriage, from coerced marriage.
She says even though the law was intended for those with strict religious views, it'll still be open for anyone in the state.
Once you create a loophole to avoid a system of protection, that loophole is available to everyone. And that means certainly people with really nefarious intentions would be quick to discover it as well.
Just 10 days ago, Ottawa pastor Peter Kulikov was supposed to be in Ukraine for a regularly scheduled humanitarian trip. This picture is one of several trips in recent years. Now with his latest trip canceled because of the war, he's using his contacts to provide direct aid.
I feel Ukraine sort of in the fabric of this picture.
Tokens from trips over several years line the walls of Peter Kulikov's office.
You see pictures of the sunflower and like a typical house in Ukraine.
Reminding him not only of the several humanitarian trips he's taken to the Eastern European country, but of his own family's Ukrainian and Russian history.
They gave him a 10-year term in Stalin's labor camps.
His grandfather and father both imprisoned in the former Soviet Union for their religious worship in a time where practicing Christianity was outlawed.
He was sharing with me horror stories.
Decades later, Kulikov's now a pastor at Ottawa's Seventh-day Adventist Church. And from thousands of miles away, his connection with his homeland is only growing stronger. Kulikov speaking to this team of men on the ground in Ukraine.
We are still trying to reach into the areas where there are no corridors, safe corridors.
He's a translator, coordinator, and liaison, raising funds in Chattanooga for this mission miles away.
Every day they go to those cities under the fire of bullets, under the rain of bullets, and load a few families into the transportation that they have and take them to some safer places.
They've helped to relocate over 3,000 refugee families like this one in a period of 4 weeks.
Now, I cannot eat normally, I cannot sleep normally. What's happening right now in Ukraine is a heavy burden on my heart.
A burden and a duty he says will continue to be present as long as these people still need his help.
Being on the front lines can take a toll on our first responders. Eric Price explains how one fire captain still feels the impact of one accident 10 years later. Eric.
Josh, Latricia, today marks the first day Hamilton County first responders begin classes to prioritize mental health, especially related to PTSD. Now, one CFD fire captain says PTSD awareness helped him deal with his terrorizing flashbacks after a disturbing car wreck.
CFD Captain Chris Blazek still suffers from disturbing flashbacks from a grisly car wreck 10 years ago.
I go back to hearing her gurgle and hearing her gasp for air.
When he arrived on the scene of I-24 near Moccasin Bend, he says she was still alive.
And she was still breathing through the hole that was left of her face. And that call's never left me. That call has been with me. That call will wake me up at night.
Blazek says he's struggled with anger management after the incident for years, but says one thing that's helped is listening to PTSD advocate Travis Howe's podcast.
Just another day at work, doing what we do. We're always there to help everybody else, but we don't know how to help ourselves when it actually comes time to help ourselves.
Howes teaches first responders across the country how to look for help. He's in Chattanooga to let them know they're not alone in their struggles.
And my advice would be to try to find any kind of tangible resource in your area. Know the resources available for mental wellness.
But since discovering Travis a year ago and taking his class today, Captain Blazek says mental health is the #1 priority for him and his team.
We come off of a call that may be disturbing. You know, the first thing I say once we get back on the truck is, are you guys okay? Do you need to talk?